Today I will be taking a look at my mobile destroyer one-man army build guide that uses miniguns and rocket launchers to obliterate enemies at any range. If you like to zoom around the battlefield while face blasting enemies with your rocket launcher and minigun, this build guide is for you. I will be going over skills and attributes, augmentations and modules, weapons to use at different stages of the game, and tactical gear that will complete our weapon of mass splatter. I will also briefly go over armor at the very end. This build allows you to continuously dish out high amounts of damage at any range. Your minigun is very good at extended fights since it's picking up DPS as you fire it. And your rocket launcher explosions may help you with large groups of enemies and shielded foes while giving you a good fallback option while running away. A high amount of evasion combined with javelin dash allows you to stay mobile, getting behind cover to evade damage, reposition yourself to get a better angle on your enemies, or using your dash to get into the fray is extremely easy with this build. Javelin dash also allows you to keep your minigun fired up and shoot your rocket launcher while retreating without much slowdown. Your spider bot ability allows you to create large amount of small explosive spiders that act as bodies. They can soak damage and seek out enemies to detonate for a huge chunk of their face. And the IO converter is your augmentation of choice versus mechanical enemies, but can be exchanged for either the Euron Dragon or the Stasis Stomp to provide more crowd control. Every time you level up, you gain free skill points that can be put into skills. Certain treasures also provide you with additional skill points. Those points can be distributed however you like, so feel free to deviate from my recommendations. You can also put 20 points into each skill, but can boost them over 20 with specific gear. Going over the cap still provides boni, but at a lesser rate. A diminishing return comes into play. A quick overview of what each skill does. Tactical Sense increases your tactical charge rate gained from damage inflicted by a set percent. Critical Hit Rate increases your crit chance, doubling your damage for the hit. Both of those increase your cybernetics attribute. Weapon Handling decreases your reload time and increases your weapon swap speed. Aiming improves your overall stability and spread recovery of a weapon, making your gun of choice much more accurate. Both of those increase your motorics attribute. Balance increases your stun and knockback as well as stagger resistance, while decreasing the movement penalty caused by firing heavy weaponry. Evasion increases your cooldown recovery of your dodge. Both of those increase your frame attribute. Vital Signs increase your health pool, and Body Battery increases your energy pool. Both of those increase your biometrics attribute. The priority for those is as follows. Max Vital Signs first. This will make you extremely tanky early on and mid-game, and keep you alive during endgame. Next, maximize your critical hit rate. This is especially useful for fast-hitting weapons, and it's always satisfying to see a rocket obliterate someone. Next up is Evasion. Get this one up to at least 10 to improve your mobility immensely. 20 points into Aim is mandatory for your minigun to feel good and satisfying to use, especially when moving a lot. You will also want to grab 10 points into Balance to improve your mobility with heavy weaponry even more. And finish up your character with additional 10 points into Evasion. You can swap around points into Aim and Evasion to make your character a lot more mobile early on or more accurate early on, depending on what you like. Augmentations are next. You'll want to start the game with a Luton augmentation early on. You can grab it from the grafter as soon as you get to cluster 13. This will make progressing through the early game a breeze since it's picking up all consumables and using them immediately. The next useful augmentation is the Stasis Stomp and can be acquired after the double charge side mission. The Euron Dragon can be grabbed in the offices of the Golden Satori Casino and exchanged with the Luton Drone or the Stasis Stomp to make your gameplay a bit more engaging. The IO converter can be purchased from the grafter for 28 U credits after progressing a bit through the story. This one is extremely useful versus robotic enemies who will make sections containing them a breeze. The last augmentations are the spider bots. This one can be found after the Mega Arachnoid boss fight in one of the chests behind the arena. You can cheese this boss fight with a lock on fire and IO converter combo. At this point I would recommend switching to the spider bots as an AoE clearing tool as well as additional distraction to reposition yourself, and the IO converter is to melt robotic enemies when they do show up. For the modules, I would advise going with the Vita Science booster that can be acquired after completing the Balls Deep questline. The second module is going to be the Javelin Dash. This one can be found as a treasure at the northeastern side of the node. Your weapons of choice are going to be those with high clip sizes and explosive properties. You'll want to pick up a Dread, which can be acquired early on as a drop from enemies around cluster 13. You can also buy it for a lot of U credits, which I would not advise. Upgrade this weapon and continue. You will stumble upon an HMG42 Dominator as a drop from enemies around the node. Switch to this weapon from a dread and upgrade it. It's one of the most solid weapons in the game and can be kept until you can buy an MG1000 Strikebreaker. This weapon will be your final choice of a minigun and serve you well throughout the rest of the game. As your second weapon, you will want to pick up an RPG-23 launcher. This weapon can drop early around no man's land. Enemies here are extremely dangerous but can be killed one by one until you die and respawn. You can otherwise buy this weapon much later for around 18k U-creds. This weapon is nothing short of amazing and is an absolute game breaker. It blasts through early and mid game and AoE clears massive packs of enemies with ease. It also gets through shields, which is a cherry on top. Upgrade this weapon until you can purchase the Besieger or the Blastmaster, which are just a lot better. Choose which one you like more and upgrade it. This one will stay with you until the very end of the game. There are a few options for your tactical gear. The Stasis drone is a solid choice throughout the whole game, giving you additional crowd control and damage if you manage to blow up your target while they are still stunned. The next good tactical equipment is the GX43 Sweet Justice. It's an amazing tool for clearing packs of enemies and getting you out of tough spots. Both can be purchased immediately in Cluster 13. The Regio Field is a great choice for the last stages of the game. It provides you with a full heal every now and then and makes the whole last fight a lot more enjoyable. It is also a great option for every timed event in the game to regenerate your health in between packs. As for armor, there is not much variety in terms of efficiency endgame. Purple armor is the best defensively, with yellow pieces being the second best in the game. Early game you'll want as much ballistic mitigation as possible, with fire and energy weapons becoming more common after mid game. The best overall armor endgame is the EED Whisper Heavy Rig Helmet for the head slot. The body armor sees a bit more variety, but the custom flatliner rig is the overall best. It also boosts your cybernetics attribute and your balance skill by a tiny amount. The E60 Track Stomper leg rig are the overall best pair of pants and can be bought at the armor vendor endgame. My final thoughts and tips. Make sure you always upgrade your weapon with basic and advanced components. But do not use your superior ones lightly, since they are limited to 12 in the whole game. Basic and advanced upgrade material can be found from bounty hunters, so feel free to do that. Also feel free to change your augmentation and tactical gear. This will be essential to increase your chances of success for specific sections of the game. And lastly, keep moving. Don't let enemies swarm and surround you. You can find other useful tips in my 19 tips video. So that's all I have for you for now. See you next time and bye.